Um, so growing up, I always felt pressured to try and be more extroverted, to try and be more outgoing, to try and be more sociable. Um, and you know me, I'm introverted. I'm not outgoing. Um, and it caused me to, when it just felt like I wasn't being myself, and it caused a lot of self-doubt and a lot of insecurity, and it was very exhausting and very draining because I always felt the pressure to be be extroverted, be friendly, be outgoing. Not that I'm rude, but um I was just being inauthentic. Um and then and it just yeah, I don't know if it caused my insecurity, but it definitely caused some insecurities. I don't know if it caused some insecurities or if I was doing it because of my insecurities. Maybe a mix of both, but like I was just being inauthentic. And I'll get to the point of the video in a minute. Um, but later on, as I've talked about, I started to do some self-reflection, and I started to spend time with myself, and I realized that, like, oh, it's so, and after hearing from other people as well, I'm like, oh, it's okay to be an introvert. It's okay to be like, there's nothing. I mean, I don't like labeling people as like an introvert and extrovert, but it's okay to be more introverted. And I realized that, and it made me feel like this like sigh of relief because in this pressure pressure took off of me. Um, so I've just I've learned that, like, on my personal growth journey, that one of the most essential tools for me has been self-reflection. Um, and just like spending time with yourself. So, like, a part of self-reflection for me has been journaling. Like, whenever I'm feeling out of touch with myself, I just journal it, and it helps me get back in touch with myself. And I know some people are more people oriented and more extroverted, and they just like being around people more, and that's fine. I just think, and also, like, this is the other point I wanted to make. Also, I've learned that, like, once I learned how to self reflect and get to know myself more, I started to become more of my own person. I started to develop more of a sense of self, and I started to understand myself more. I started to see myself outside of other people's points of view of me, other people's opinions of me, and I started to just develop my own opinion of myself. And then I realized that, like, my opinion is the only opinion that really matters of who I am, because I, it's like nobody else knows me as well as I do. So, yeah, I think it just helps. I think it can just help you gain a sense of independence and a sense of freedom in in knowing yourself, in being being responsible for yourself, not just, financially, but just being in touch with yourself, because it does make a difference. Even if it's just a few minutes, just spending time with yourself and just being like, okay, I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still, because I'm a very solitary person, so I spend most of my time alone anyway. So by choice, all by choice. But yeah, just like taking a few minutes out of each day, maybe not every day, but whenever you can, to just like ground yourself and just be like, yeah, be present. It does make a difference. Even those little things, they do make a difference. Yeah. So that's just what I wanted to get off my chest. So bye bye.